Hi there, it's Troy on Wardour Street in Soho in London. Wardour Street supposedly used to be one of the seediest streets in London, so much so that it was described as being the only street in the world that is shady on both sides. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but it's a nice little saying. Anyway, here we are. It's a Sunday, it's pretty chilly as I'm recording this, so yeah, I'm going to walk around and talk. And what I wanted to do today is a little bit of a book review, actually. Well, not really, but I want to touch on a book that I've read in the last couple of weeks, which is probably one of the best books I've read this year, if not one of the best books I've ever read, actually, in a way. I think that what the writer has done here is created something which is, in 2019, which is really what literature should be, and sort of isn't in a mainstream sense very often, unfortunately, because mainstream publishing has become very safe and very conservative with a small c, and writers aren't encouraged to take risks, and it's difficult to do anything sort of interesting or innovative. However, of course, in the self-publishing space, all of that goes out the window, and we can do what we like, and we can create some great stuff. And there has been some great writing that's come out of, particularly out of the men's online space, if you like. So we have somebody like Delicious Tacos, whose fantastic book, his fantastic novel is still riding high on Amazon, so you should go and check that out. If you haven't already, just look up Delicious Tacos on Amazon. So what I've read recently is a book by a gentleman called Bronze Age Pervert, and his book is called Bronze Age Mindset, and it is really, really fantastic. How would you describe it? I mean, it's a kind of it's a very literary piece of work. It's not fiction as such, it's sort of more like philosophy. I suppose the touchstone would be Friedrich Nietzsche, sort of Schopenhauer as well to some degree. But Nietzsche, I think, is the closest that you would get in terms of a comparison. And it's really, really fantastic. Now, I'm not going to go into the full sort of rundown of exactly what's in it now, because we're not going to have time, but I would highly encourage you to check it out. Now, Bronze Age Pervert, which I assume is not his real name, is coming from a sort of he's been described as an alt-right figure, and he denies that, or rather he doesn't. I don't think he recognises that labelling. He seems to be coming from a fairly rightist perspective, let's say. I'm not certain that I'm on the same page as him politically with everything, but I really, really, really like a lot of his message in the book, because his brand of right-wing thought seems to me to be more anarchic, perhaps, than a lot of other people. So what kind of pisses me off, I suppose, is the sort of the Jordan Peterson style right-wing thought, where it's all yes, let's be incredibly conservative and tidy our rooms and be very, very good boys, basically, and then everything will be wonderful. And this is the sort of tradcon thinking, I guess, which seems to me to be basically, society's a bit crap at the moment, so why don't we all just be very, very good and very, very conventional and traditional, and tidy our rooms and be very nice and polite and do all the right things, and then everything will go back and be wonderful again. And personally, I just don't buy that. And secondly, it sounds a bit bloody boring. However, Bronze Age Pervert, in his book Bronze Age Mindset, seems to propose something very different to that. What he seems to be putting forward is actually quite a radical agenda. And one of the things that really stuck out for me in the book was his exhortation for men to be pirates. He says men should be pirates. And I love that, because I always love the idea of the pirate. I love the skull and the crossbones. I love the whole, and I just love the whole idea of men being encouraged to be sort of anarchists, of men being encouraged to go against the grain, to be rebellious, to be adventurous, to be renegade, to coin a phrase. Now, he does clarify. I think he clarified actually in the interview with Jack Murphy. There's a really good interview that he did with the writer and podcaster Jack Murphy, so I'd encourage you to check that out. But he does clarify somewhere that what he means is actually men should be spiritual pirates, spiritual warriors. This isn't about literally donning the black eye patch and the pirate hat and going and robbing people on the high seas. This is about spiritually going against the grain, spiritually standing out from the crowd. And I'm fully on board with that. I think it's a fantastic thing, because I think one of the problems with current conservatism, as we have it, is that men are actually being encouraged to be very conventional. And I just can't see that as being a good thing. I mean, yes, you could argue it's good for society. Yeah, I suppose so. But what you have to bear in mind is it's what you do as an individual is going to have an infinitesimal impact on society. The impact on society is going to be negligible, statistically negligible. So therefore you have to make a decision and think, well, okay, am I going to live my life according to the rules as set down by some very traditional, fairly boring conservative figure like Jordan Peterson, or am I going to say, well, sod it, actually I don't regard that as being as being what masculinity is about. I actually think what masculinity is about being the pirate, about being the renegade. Now for me, I think the pirate, the warrior archetypes are far more in line with what masculinity is about, should be about, than being a nice, polite, good, buttoned down boy who has a very traditional life. That's just me, that's what I think. But come on, I mean, like, what is masculinity if it's not being the pirate? What is masculinity if it's not being the adventurer, not being the warrior, not being the guy who's willing and able to go out on a limb, to create, to create chaos, to have adventures? This is what it should be all about. In a spiritual sense. I'm not necessarily talking now in a literal sense, but I hope that you can kind of see what I'm saying. And this, I think, is really, really important, because if we relate this now back to sort of more practical matters, dating and business, people who aren't prepared to go out on a limb tend not to do very well with dating. Oh dear, big fire engine coming up the road now. Tend not to do very well with girls, because, blimey, look at this. It's all kicking off. It's all going off in London town. Tend not to do very well with girls because frankly they're a bit boring. And it's the same also with business, because if you're not prepared to go out on a limb, if you're not prepared to differentiate yourself in some way, you'll get people who like you, but you need to be prepared to ruffle a few feathers in order to differentiate yourself, in order to stand out from the crowd. And so be a pirate, be a spiritual warrior, be a renegade playboy. Don't be afraid to go against the grain, to go against society, and to do your own thing, because that, my friends, is what masculinity is all about. All right, I'm going to leave it now. However, please do hit the subscribe button. Please do like this video. Do sign up for my daily email. Emails Monday to Friday, link below. And also do get my digital pack of 10 books, Renegade Dating Blueprint, for $39 at the moment. The link is below. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.